Okay, for your exam, you're going to do the specific drawing several times. You're going to do 2505-006. I'll show it to you in just a second, and then I'll show you how to make the whole part so you can have a complete drawing. But you're going to time yourself while doing this completed drawing to get to this, and this is how you fill it in. So you're going to fill in the chart preferably in seconds. So you should be able to put in here how many seconds it is. You're going to have to determine that yourself while you do that. So I suggest you just list all your times and then go back and plot them later on. But if it takes you 2 or 3 minutes to get it done the first time, you would put it so that 2 or 3 minutes is up here, 120, 240 seconds, something up here to complete it, and then you plot this. So should do this, and you should end up with some. After doing it several times, you should get faster and faster and faster. And as you do that, the only thing that I ask is if you make some mistake, as you're getting faster, if there's some anomaly where it goes up high or something like that, you just write in there by hand what happened on that one specific thing that slowed you down. When you're doing it, okay? That way you're telling everybody, hey, this is the mistake I know that I made, and I'll give you complete credit for it. So that's how you fill out the chart. You'll get a hard copy of it in your hand. Then you're going to start by clicking on the first one, make the drawing, submit it, you record your time, then go on to the next one, do it again, do it again, do it again, until you're done all 10 of them. Okay, so the part you're going to make is this part right here. This part is what you're going to make. So it is going to be the 2505-06 axle alignment fixture. You're going to make it from the beginning to the end, and I'm just going to show you how to do it now. We'll get started here in just a second, but it tells you here, this is what your front view should be. This should be your right side. This will be your top view down, and you're going to need an auxiliary view to do that. And it's not a real hard part, so let's get going. All right, so I have to start mine a different way. You should click on that one and get going, and I'll get mine started here. So once you get going, the first thing you should do is change your workplace units and make sure they're inches, and that's what it is. And I don't think there's anything you need to change here. So we'll just go ahead and move on. I'm going to right click on this plane, create a new sketch, and then view normal to that sketch. This makes this really easy. And then I'm going to draw the shape like this. Oops, hold on, what happened there? We'll just drag this one out here like that. And I'm just sketching. You sketch, constrain, then dimension. So we'll sketch this out here, and I did it this way on purpose, right on that, because I want that corner to be, I want this corner to be my front corner right there. That's my origin point here. Actually, my origin point's going to be right in the center right there. All right. So then we're looking at this. The overall length is 5. The overall height is 1.5, and each one of these is 0.5 thick. So we'll go ahead and dimension. I'm going to dimension this so it is 5 inches. This one was 1.5. This one was 0.5. And then we'll say equals here. From here to here, those are equal. So they always stay the same. It's fully constrained, and I'll finish that sketch. So I'm going to look for the thickness of that. It's 3 inches there. So I've got a 3-inch thing here. So I'll go here, click extrude. I'm going to extrude that shape symmetrically, and it's going to be 3 inches, so it'll do 1.5 inches on each side, and I got that part of it done. Now, to make things really, really easy, I'm going to go ahead and do my fillets right now. So I'm going to put a fillet on here and say that the fillet is, what is it on the drawing? It is right here, 0.5. So we'll say 0.5 and go from here. We'll put that one on there, and oops. I'm going to click this again. I wanted to get that one right there. That's 0.5 also. So I'll finish that sketch. Okay, now I'm going to right click on here, and I'm going to create a new sketch on that plane because I want to put these holes in right here, and those holes, there's 4 of them. There's 2 here and 2 here. They're 0.5 holes. All right, so on this plane right here, I'm going to view normal to that sketch and put them in somewhere right in here and one right about here. Then I'm going to horizontally constrain them. and then I'll start dimensioning, and I'm going to put a dimension on that says the distance between the two of them is 2 inches. The distance off of the edge, or from here over to here, is 0.5, and the distance from the bottom up to here was also 0.5. Alright, so I got that one figured out. Now the other thing we can do is we've got that sketch done. I can go back up here, right click on this one, click new sketch here, and view normal to that sketch, so it should straighten out there. I'm going to go ahead and pop these in place. I'll put this one here and this one here. Oops, looks like I got those messed up. So I'm going to do a vertical constraint, and then I'll start dimensioning, and I'm going to say that the distance between those two is also 2 inches. The distance off of the edge here was 0.5, and the distance off of the edge up here was 0.5. Alright. Okay, so now I've got my points right there. I've got 4 points. I've got here, here, and here, and here. Let's go ahead and I'm going to turn these off to make it easier. You don't have to do it, but now you see where those points are. So now I'm going to do the hole command, and instead I'm going to do it's inches. It's a simple hole that gets drilled all the way through, and it is a 1/2 inch hole. So I'm going to go here to 0.5, and then click there, 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 and there. So I got all my holes in place. So now the holes are done. All right, the next thing we're going to worry about, so that's easy. So the base of this is done. It's now this part right here. So this is on a 45-degree angle. So I'm going to create a plane right there like that. So I'll create a plane here. And I'm going to create a plane on that edge right there, and I want to switch this. If yours says offset, switch it to line angle, and the arrow's pointing up. So if the arrow was pointing down, it would be a little different for me. Oh, it doesn't. I don't get the option. So it's going to go that way anyway, and it was 45. So let's put a 45 right here, and that should create a nice plane for us right there, and that's not the plane I want. So I'm going to edit that plane, and it goes that way. So I want to go, why did it go that way? I want to go this way. That's the one I want. I'll switch it that way, so it's 45 degrees this way. So that did make a difference. It just didn't show up there. So all right, so now I've got that plane. Oops, I don't know why I moved that or how I moved that. There we go. All right, so I'll right click here, and I'm going to create a new sketch, and then view normal to that plane. So I'm looking straight at that right there. Now, for me, I like to look at these things this way, so I want to get it, oops, a little too far. So I want to look straight onto that plane this way. So I'm going to start by drawing a line right here that goes up to somewhere about here. I'm going to draw an arc then from here over to about here, and put this somewhere right there. Actually, it says this is a perfect arc. This is what I want to do. Most of the time I'd say do this and switch it, but in this one I want it to be that way. So I'm going to come down here and draw a line to that part right there. Now to close this off, I do want to draw not an arc, but I want to draw a line that goes from here to here. So now I've got a circle in there exactly the way I want it. Now, ready to dimension. I didn't look at those dimensions, so let's see. It's 2 inches up this way. It's on a 45, so it's 2 inches up, 1 inch radius on that part right there, and a 0.75 hole going through. That one I'll worry about in a minute. But so let's go here. We're going to put a 1 inch radius on this. So I'm dimension this, and that's going to be 1. The dimension that goes from this line up to here was 2. And the other thing I want to do is I want to do a vertical constraint between the origin point and, oops, wait. I want to do, let's cancel that. Cannot be resolved. Let me back up one step. I want to do, it's turned sideways here. So maybe it's a horizontal constraint between that and that. So that one, nope, that didn't work either. Alright, back that one up. Try that vertical one again between here and here. There we go. That's what it was. Alright, so now I got that part figured out. Okay, and then we're going to edit that sketch, or finish that sketch. And then this was one where I'm going to click on that little corner right there. I'll click on this corner, switch it back to this way, and turn this off just so we can see things happening. So I've got this thing here, and when I click extrude, I want to use that shape and extrude that. Well, I don't want it to go that way. I want it to go the other way. So I'll change this, and I'm going to change this feature right here, where it's how far it's going. I don't want it to be blind. I want it go to the next face, and it'll make it go down to that face, and it stops. All right, so that's done. So I'll check that, and then I'm ready to go in here. I'm gonna create a new sketch on this one again, right here, and this one's kind of easy because I'm just gonna put a point right here in that spot right there on the center. So I got that point, and that's the easiest way to do it. And we'll put a hole in right there, and this hole is going to go right here, and it's not a half-inch hole, it was a 3/4 of an inch hole, 0.75. So we'll go here to 0.75, and we're going to check that, and it goes through. All right, finished part. We're ready to roll on. So I'm going to right click, create a new part. Now I would suggest that you do ANSI B inch, but you can do ANSI A if you want to squeeze it in there. So when you do B, this is what you should do. It's going to take a second to do it. Alright, so I'm going to bring this main view in here, and that's exactly how you want that. And then we'll put this one over here. I'll put this one up here. You can do an isometric up over here if you want. That puts that up in there. Okay, but we need to have an auxiliary view of that because we got to get these dimensions. See how it's an ellipse and it needs to be a circle. So I'll do an auxiliary view off of this plane right here, and we'll just move that up to about right there. All right. So now, when we do that, we've got the layout the way we want it to be. So now I'm going to look at this thing here, and I'm going to start thinking about, I'm going to start with this view. Oh, before I do anything, I want to right click on this one, and I'm going to turn off my tangent edges, and I want to right click again and show my hidden lines. You could do that in these other ones here, show hidden lines and see where hidden lines go. That actually looks really good on that specific drawing. You could show your hidden lines on this one. There's no tangents that are showing up on that one. So that actually shows you why you need to have these things, and it tells you a lot about the bottom of that. All right, I always do this next where I go to the add center lines. My center lines aren't needed there, but I will put them here, here, here. Oops, hit escape. Hit escape because I don't want that one there. I want to do this center line. I want to do it on this one, and I want to do it on this one. So we're not going to do them on these other ones. We're just going to do them on where they're visible here. Alright, so let's start up top. I'm going to put a dimension on and say it goes from the edge to this one here, and I'm going to put that right there, and I realize now I want to change that to 2 decimal places. So I'll change that to 2, and my angular precision, I only want 0 there. So I'll close that back up. Then I'll put a dimension on that goes between the centers of this one right here. So I'll put that in. I'm just going to align that, and I'm actually going to just do one that does the entire side there. I'll do the same. I'm going to go from here to that center and put in a 0.5 right here, but I also want to do this line and goes from one end to the other and put that there. So I got my overall length and overall width done. Got these holes located. I'm going to go ahead and put this in here. It tells us what this is. And if I just click dimension like that, it's not going to work. I want to use the one that's the whole call out because it does the whole thing where it tells us it goes through. I also do want to change this though. You could have just typed that, but I do want to change this to say 4 places here. Remember, it's all caps. Alright, so I got 4 places there. So then we'll go down here to the front view, and we'll start dimensioning again, and I'm going to dimension this right here. I'm going to align it with those. I'm going to dimension this one, kind of put it down here somewhere where it looks nice. Now the other thing that's important is I want to put this dimension in here that tells us what this angle is right here. And I'm going to try to align that right there as close as I can. So that looks good. So then we're over here to the other side. I got to figure out these holes here. I'm going to do one that goes from here to here. Put one right there, and I'm going to find where that comes in right there. I want to align those 2 right there. I'll do one that goes from here to here. Now if I can squeeze the 2 in there and it looked nice, it's fine, but it's not going to work out right. It's going to be weird. So I'm going to move that out here. I'll go ahead and put a dimension that goes from here up to here and put that right there, and we'll do a dimension on that radius right there, and we can put typical, or you could just put 2 places since you only did it 2 times. Alright, we don't need to do those holes because we said 4 places up there, so now the rest of this is all about the auxiliary view. So we're going to go up here, we're going to do a dimension, we'll go from this line like we had here to that circle, put that 2 inches right there, we'll put a radius on this one right here, and we'll go to the hole and say that right there, so that says through. Last thing we've got to do on this to finish it is to click on this right here. We're going to change that wording to axle alignment fixture. Alright, oops, you gotta spell alignment right. Axle alignment fixture. Alright, and then we'll back that up. This one, say 2505-006. Right there, and this is right here. Double click that to the zoom to the extent. Click submit, stop your timer, and then put it on your TPM chart.